it was either a 15-minute show or a half-an-hour show. How many people? So he had it all worked out in his mind. And he was able to charge more because he was in that video. Once that video hit the TV screens, nobody really ummed and ahed at him anymore. And the other thing is too, not just that you're technically a good dancer, but be an entertainer. Because to pop the whole of a half an hour or 15 minutes or whatever the show might be is very, very difficult. It's taxing on the body. It takes a lot of energy. You know, the use of, I know this is probably getting away from the answer question, whatever, but you have to be an entertainer. So the thing is, yeah, don't go hard out so you're exhausting yourself, because really the people that are hiring you and watching, they often don't know the full technicalities of popping anyway. It's strange to them. They don't know if you're better than this other person. They're being entertained. They're not going to really critique you and say, oh, you weren't worth that, you know, you were shit. Honestly, most of the time they'll be happy with whatever you do, even if you're not that good. I remember the first, I don't know, it was the first paid gig was for Grace Brothers. Are they still called Grace Brothers? Yeah, they're called Maya now. Anyway, Grace Brothers, they hired me to do something out at Liverpool, Grace Brothers, and I lived in the city, which is most of the last 30 years I've lived in the city. And my friends got the gig, and they were terrible dancers. Honestly, they were really bad. Their timing was shit. Their hits were terrible. But they were nice guys. And anyway, they said, oh, do you know any girls that can pop? You know, we want a girl. And so they were like, oh, yeah, we know one. There was some, you know, there was like 3 or 4 people that did it, so like 3 or 4 people, other girls than me. And, but anyway, I was the one that was out there, you know, I had the career already. And, I was more well known on the scene. I didn't have a full-on career up until that point. And they were going, yeah, we know one girl, which is me. And I turned up and I did the show, and they were like, there was this expression on their face like, oh, phew, she can actually dance, she can entertain. You know, they were just happy that I could do something reasonable. And I was probably only reasonable at that point. So maybe I was better at entertaining rather than dancing. I don't know. But the thing is, they were very happy to put the money there. And then you get other people that are like, there was one guy, he was really stingy about the money. And we did the most fantastic show, me and a whole group of other guys. And he didn't want to pay. And we practically had to beat it out of him. And back in those days, we were hard asses. We were really, really hard asses back in those days. All my friends, they'd all come from criminal backgrounds. None of us living at home with mummy and daddy. None of us were nice people, really. I mean, underneath there, I think I was nice, but, you know, I had to generally say, look, that's enough. I don't know if that made sense. Ask questions if something didn't make sense.
So our late panelist, Nacho.
Hello, I'm sorry.
You came at the perfect time. So we're talking about in terms of people getting paid and stuff, free gigs and stuff. So
This is my whole deal.
that's his whole thing. So for those who don't know, Danis, he's probably the most famous popper in Australia, I would say. The most well known. That's true. It's true. So you can dance. You did heaps of music videos as well.
Yeah.
And he's a DJ. And you're studying science or something?
Mathematics.
That's all. That's in uni.
Yeah.
So, any 2 cents in terms of pay, free gigs or anything?
Yeah, I have some. Yeah. Hello,
I'm Nacho, so if I didn't meet you, but I know most everybody anyway. you should not do gigs for free. I think, ever. Just never. Because when I came up, anyway, how long can I answer this question?
Just go, and then I'll
Because I'll talk all day on this one. But when we were coming up, there was kids who used to dance in the clubs for free, and that was the whole deal, right? And at the very beginning, we were like, in competition. Man, fuck this guy. Excuse me. Forget these guys. I hate these guys. They're whack anyway. They dress corny, and they would get tons of gigs because they just would do whatever. They do it for coats or whatever, right? But the minute we started saying, well, this is how much we are, and you can, if you don't want it, use them. Please use them. By all means, use them. But we're only this much. You can only mess with us if you can pay this much, and we're quality. You know what I'm saying? And people believed it, and people, especially when you're working on your craft, which I know everyone in here is, because why else you at this panel? But if you're working on your craft, then you're trained more than anybody. You know when they say like you're an untrained dancer, but that's not true. It's just you're not trained in ballet or whatever. You know what I mean? Anyway, so never do a gig for free. That's my opinion. Unless it's if they're like, oh, we really got nothing, we really believe them, then squeeze something out. Everyone's got something for you. You know what I mean? Tell them like, then I'm the only dancer on the clip, or I'm in the front, or those are nice shoes, whatever. They got something for you. Like, how much you got in your wallet? Want lunch and dinner. You know what I mean? I'm serious. Like if they get something out of you, you get something back. That's the truth. Jack, whoever, even when I was like, help me with this gig for free, he was like, I want those shoes. And will you rob me for my shoes, bro? Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you.
I guess this is more for the student societies, presidents or something, because sometimes if someone has like a set fee, for example, it's $100 for judging, and then an event costs maybe like $50 or something to run. How can we should there be like a ratio determining how much they want to be paid, or for if we want to set our rates or anything, or should we just go for someone who can do it a bit more cheaper? So should we adjust it? Because Nate is other you do his like big gigs as well, and then for smaller gigs, do you take it even with a reduced pay?
Oh, guess to be specific.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. And Jack and Rap Attack and Kris.
Yeah. I would say, me personally. Oh, sorry.
Excuse me. Yes. I would say personally, if someone can't afford it, that's all good too. But you just let them know. Look, for example, someone hit me up the other day and said, "Can you do this little, DJ thing?" Then my homie, I said, "Look, my fee is this. If you can't touch that, we can have this one. We can be homies. We're homies. You know what I mean? Whatever. But this is the fee. If you get a discount, you get a discount. But don't forget, this is the fee." You know? So you can still do stuff for the love. What's going on, homie? Stuff for love all day, or whatever. But I think there's a principle that's important, especially Australia and especially in this market. Yes, this is the fee. That's what I think.
Anything?
Yeah, I've adjusted it according to who is talking to me, who is paying me. And I know that, this person has a certain amount in their pocket. So I'll think of it that way. I'll consider, how much have they paid other people? Have they got a lot of money? Have they got only a little bit? But the thing is, I put the rate a bit higher than that, and then we negotiate. There are some things I do for free, they're causes, but I am getting something out of it. It's not maybe monetary pay, but I am getting something out of it. Like tomorrow I've got a gig. I have a long association with the people that I'm doing the gig for. They're not really making money out of me, so that's why I'm doing it for free. But I have a very long association with them. There's some activist things, even when Occupy Sydney was still happening in Martin Place. I don't know if it still is, because I do a lot of activism of all different types. I didn't get paid for that. So that was spreading a message, and there was a lot of artists involved, and some really, really famous people, some medium level like me, and some people that were new to being a performer of whatever type. But I don't have an actual chart or anything written down. I just adjusted accordingly. And also my fame level over the years, if you want to call it, has gone up and down according to who I've worked with, how much media there is about me, etc. So back in the early 80s, there was a lot of media out there about me, so I could actually charge more. You know, I was in the newspapers all the time. I was performing at a lot of outdoor festivals, in a lot of clubs. And then in the late 80s, I was able to charge a lot more because I was working with Roger G from the Michael Jackson Bad video. So even if I wasn't performing within that day, I could still charge a lot more. So it really had nothing to do with how skilled I was as a performer or an entertainer or a dancer.
Dennis, probably say something? Sorry.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about, like, say these guys going out and getting paid for busking, like saying, making money from their art, you know?
Just from busking?
Oh, like, you know, like, obviously, you know, they have to reach a certain level,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, street busking, you know, for their level now, obviously, as their skill level gets higher, obviously they're going to be having those opportunities to, you know, do performances, you know, and you know, get paid for it. But I mean, how do you guys feel about, say, like busking?
I'm a street performer through and through. I started that way, I'll finish that way. I think you can be like absolute crap, and the longer you do it, it's like anything, it's paid practice. That's how I feel about it. I just came back from LA a week ago, and I mixed with a lot of street performers, OGs mainly, and they had gone back to the street after a big gap. They were also doing nightclub shows, TV, etc., etc., and they were getting really good money up there on Hollywood Boulevard. And they were getting some of the younger people that, you know, didn't really have that many skills, and some of them did have a lot of skills. It's the way you learn. Street dancing is fabulous, and I'll be going back to it this summer. I haven't done it since probably 1990 on a consistent level, and I'm going back to it because it's just what I love, and I got really inspired by all the OGs that I met. It was fabulous.
So, like, I'll say, in terms of just busking, I think it's so crazy important for everyone to, if you haven't done it, just do it, give it a go, and then, okay, you can think, okay, maybe I can make some money today, but what you can get out of it is really performance. You can really entertain. If you're not a good entertainer, if you put yourself out there and you're just like, people go, cool, but if you entertain them, if you show who you are, yeah, okay, like when Jaya started busking, oh, he's a little kid. Money. But it wasn't just that either. If you watch, you can see he really performs. He's a performer. He doesn't just train or like do moves. Yeah, he's just performing. Maybe some of the moves aren't the best, but he's trying to do it so the audience experiences something. So when you go to a battle or when you're asked to do a show, you have that in you. You performed on the street. So like when I used to busk in Newtown or at Galibah Jaya or wherever I used to busk, you really have to sort of push yourself and grow your entertainment skills, so to entertain people. So yeah, and it's good, you get a bit of money. So I think, yeah, if you're busking and you're not making any money, you're still practicing, you're still getting your performance out there. So it's like win-win sort of things like that.
I think at the end of the day, I'm trying to say, like, I think you guys need to get more exposure, you know, out in the public, and you know, getting paid for it is like you're saying, I'm worthy of it, you know, like I'm, you know, like my quality, my standard is of that level that I think, you know, I can entertain you and, you know, I can get something back in return. I mean, I don't think at the moment, like the poppers in general, like I don't think you guys don't have much exposure, you know, like out in the streets, you know, like obviously you guys practice at, you know, entertainment centre. You know, but I think you just people just walk by, and you know, you guys are training, and that's the reason why you do it. Obviously, because you love popping and you love your craft. But I think definitely, you know, there needs to be more exposure to the popping.
Should we move to that topic? Because one of the topics is how do we get more exposure, and one we just covered, which is busking.
Oh, did you want to?
No,
Okay, wait. I thought it was a good point to shoot everyone be getting paid right away for busking and things. I agree with everyone. Busking is so key.
But is it also a sellout? You know what I mean? That's the
well, definitely
thing. You know what I mean?
What I think, my personal opinion. You know, I'm sure people have different opinions. But popping or street dance in general came up from the streets. And it was real important that there was a hustle aspect behind it, and that's sort of a part of hip hop. That's a real important aspect is the hustle. It's in everything. Everything about hip hop is look at me, and it's a hustle. You know what I mean? It's important. If you don't get it, if you're like, well, if you're real polite and a little too kind, it won't really suit you. That's why it's too nice all the time. But anyway, and I feel like busking is key. It's really important to find your flow, and just like Jack was talking about, but there comes a point when you sort of go, how much am I getting, and how much am I worth? How much is it? And how much do I love doing this in public? And there's a whole lot of things to weigh up. And everyone's got your footage now. And for me, an important thing that Kenny said once, Ken Swift, he once said he didn't think the B1 was ever supposed to go mainstream. He once said it wasn't made for that. And so the minute we all did get too much exposure. I mean, I can't really talk. I got exposed on TV and made a ton of money, which was great. But it's not necessarily the way is to give yourself exposure all the time. I did that from not being exposed. I feel like it's more important to get you say no to than get you say yes to. That defines your career. When I've done gigs for exposure, what you get out of it is more exposure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get more gigs for free because they know you can gigs for free. When you do busking, there's a key moment. I think everyone knows it on this panel. You know what I'm saying? A key moment when you go, wait, how much am I getting out of this? How much am I worth? How much is my time worth? You know? And when you're coming up for sure, we all win that, we all count in the streets, you know what I mean? But at some point you gotta go, wait, how much is this worth? That's what in terms of exposure and stuff like that. Sorry. Oh no.
You got a question?
You just say it.
So just leading on from that, I've been busking, and then even when we're just training these things, like people come and approach us, and then they ask us about like what we do and everything. But how do you sort of bridge that gap between the point where you're just like training and busking and stuff, and then when you're actually getting gigs? Like, is it for us to go out there and look for it ourselves, or do we wait for someone to approach us, or does someone higher up drop us a load?
What do you think, Jack?
Just thinking about that straight away, I would think it's really a bit of both. Like you said, you have to hustle, you've got to try and find some gigs, and then you'll get lucky and someone will come up to you on the street and go, oh hey, I've got this thing on the weekend, I'll give you this much money or whatever. So it'll come from both ways. And if like when we've had gigs through places like Crossover, if Crossover said to me or whoever, oh there's a thing, a show we can do at Parramatta, this is the pay, and I go, okay, I'll get Kai and Miguel and this person, that person. Then that's when it comes from another place as well. So, because I know that Miguel's not on time. So, and he was late that day. So that's what we talked about at the start, is kind of punctuality. Because I told Miguel, if you do it again, I'm not going to get you because it's a paid gig and I want it to be professional. If Kai's going to be there, I'm going to give it to Kai.
Was punctuality something they talked about?
Yeah, we started that. But yeah, like even if you're like 100 times better than him, but you're going to come an hour late, I'm going to get him. But it's going to come from both ways. You got to try and find it, sell yourself, not in a bad way, but sell stuff to them. Hustle.
I think this is why the community is important as well. A lot of the gigs I notice, it's sort of like a friend giving it to you a gig as well. So I guess you can have a chance, or you can also like build a community where we can all be discovered at once as well, and then we can all get connected and get the gigs through that. That's all.
Actually, I haven't said anything the whole time, so that's the point. Does anyone have any questions?
Jack, get your shoes off the
It's just annoying.